like a dark night waiting for my life to unfold. There's a sharp knife penetrating my soul. It's like a dark night waiting for my life to unfold. Magnetic energy sparks my insanity, pulling me into another. It's all love hate. There's no other. Magnetic energy sparks my insanity, pulling me into another. It's all love hate. There's no other. Look at me, but don't just assume another story hangs over you. We seek ourselves, finding the truth. Once focused on dark, I'll fade into blue. Creating and evolving comes first. Mind eclipse beginning at birth. Every day we pave the way. Got nothing to lose, got nothing to prove. So if you think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Always easy come, easy go. We find ourselves sitting alone. Take a breath and see the truth. Once focused on dark, I'll fade into blue. We walk this path hand in hand. Too many times we say we can't. A day at a time, take a chance. Once focused on dark, now fade into blue. So if you think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Feels like the last call. You're running out of time. Just get in the moment, refocus, can't play. There's always So if you think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Time after time against the tide. Follow us and see. Addicts to victory. Addicts to victory. Addicts to victory. Addicts to victory. Addicts to victory.
The tough run continued last weekend, but with every game that comes gives us the opportunity to end that run. We meet a familiar foe here at the Valley today as we play Sunderland. And while our season has taken a turn for the worse, for the Black Cats, well, they still have everything to play for. Here's what we got coming up. We'll speak exclusively to Johnny Jackson. And delighted to say, fit again striker Jayden Stockley. We'll also look back at last weekend's defeat against Sheffield Wednesday. And we'll catch up with another current addict. And delighted to say alongside Curbs and myself is that current addict, Sean Clare. Welcome to Charlton TV. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, very good indeed. Thank you, mate. I mean, I'll say it's great for you to have to be here, but actually we prefer you to be out there. How frustrating have the last two games been? How frustrating is today?
Yeah, massively. It's been really tough. Actually, it's felt like ages, felt like months, but thankfully it's the last game today. So yeah, looking forward to getting back into it.
What do you like when you're not playing and you're watching from the sidelines? Do you find it tough?
Yeah, I'm more nervous if anything. I was saying that to one of my friends recently when we were at the last home game. I'm a bit jittery and knees jumping and stuff like that because I want to be on there and helping the boys. So yeah, being in the stands is tough for me.
It's great to have Sean with us today, isn't it, Curbs? But if you were his manager when he got sent off, what would you have said to him?
It would have been two fines, one for getting sending off and one for his outfit today.
Oh, I thought you liked it, Curbs.
No. He's too cool for school, that's what it is.
He looks like he's on holiday somewhere.
It's just the one fine in terms of
I must admit, I thought it was a yellow card at the best. What was it actually? What is it deemed? Violent conduct?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think yellow card at best.
I thought it was a yellow card at best.
Yeah.
Because I think the other player was involved a bit and got his legs up and got involved. But you know, sometimes that happens. I know he'd have got fined. That's for sure. Because the boys would have demanded that. Because as you know, lots of the fines go in a pot for the end of the season, and they get themselves off to like Marbella or somewhere nice.
Yeah.
But
I was telling Sean beforehand that the only time you ever tried to find me, I managed to get out of it. So I was lucky.
Yeah. But don't say too much about that one. But no, it's disappointing because he was doing such a good job at the back, and we know he can go into midfield. He's ended up right back, and when you've got players like that, they're great because you know you can change system mid-match if you want. Just move Sean. And that affects everything, you know, and you know, it's the sort of player that I would have loved to have in my squad, as you know. Yeah, so it's been a big loss because we're talking about injuries at the back and you know, injuries elsewhere. It'd be nice if you can't play centre forward, could you?
Give it a go. Well, look, Sean, anyway, great to have you with us, and well done so far with how you've done playing in that centre-back role, and obviously we hope you're back in the team as soon as possible. But looking at today, though, it's going to be a difficult game. I mean, is this perhaps the most difficult game to kind of, or opposition anyway, to guess how they're going to be? You just don't know with Sunderland, do you?
No. Listen, we are a little bit apprehensive. We know that. We're 5 games on the spin, etc. But I'm banking on Sunderland filling their end out, which I'm sure they will, and a decent atmosphere at the ground. Our fans get behind it as well, You know, they don't want to be outsung by the Sunderland gang, do they? So, and in the atmosphere, and the boys, it's a lot different when you've got an atmosphere out there, instead of it being nice and quiet and you can hear everything.
We seem to play better with better atmosphere.
We do.
As well,
And my mind goes back a little bit to Jacko's first game, because it was Sunderland away. And, you know, we said it often enough, the amount of changes to the side since that day, you know, it's been quite a lot. And obviously changed a fortune. And we need to get back on winning ways. And to be fair, I would prefer to play Sunderland, no disrespect, than Accrington Stanley today, here. Because I just think it'd be a decent atmosphere and we should respond to it.
How do you see the lads responding today? I mean, we could do with the performance and result that we got at the stadium alike, couldn't we?
Definitely, I think it's been a really good week for the boys. I've been in amongst it, obviously, training, and everyone's really focused. The staff, the gaffer has really been on us about getting back to the standards, like Curbs was saying, of that first Sunderland game and how we performed then. So yeah, I'm positive about it. I think it's always good to have one of your main strikers back, like Stocko. He's in and amongst it. So yeah, I think positive. I'm positive.
Absolutely, and why not as well? We can feel your positivity here, Sean. That's fantastic. OK, well, look, let's talk about the gaffer, or listen to what he had to say anyway, and I caught up with him a little bit earlier. Johnny Jackson. Jacko, look, it was disappointing last time out, and the poor run continues, but crucially we're getting players fit again. How big a boost is that when, even if they're not 100% fit, you can see that you are getting your key players back?
Yeah, definitely. It's a boost. It's a boost for myself. It's a boost for the players and the squad. I think it'll be a boost for the supporters as well, because I think everyone's recognised now that we have been depleted, and obviously the squad being at its weakest has coincided with a real tough run of fixtures, and obviously we've paid the price for that. So good that we're getting players back. Obviously disappointing that we haven't been able to put points on the board recently in that run, but I think we all recognise that getting those players back was definitely obviously going to help us going forward, and hopefully that's starting today.
Have you seen a difference in training as well?
I have, yeah. It's been a really good week. Obviously we've had a lot of soul searching in the last few weeks, culminating after the Sheffield Wednesday defeat last week, and you know, we had a good discussion Monday morning about how we needed to approach the last 2 months of the season. Be over before you know it, I said to the lads. So let's make sure, you know, whatever your motivation, whatever you're playing for, that you bring that to the table in the last 2 months.
So how are we lining up today?
Well, 4 changes from Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, you touched on it there. Jaden starts today. Came on last week, so we deem him fit enough to start. Same with Scotty Fraser. He came onto the pitch last week. He's building up his minutes, so he starts. And Jai Simi comes into the team, and so does Jason Pearce.
And it's Sunderland who we got today. Of course, your first match. It was an unbelievable performance and win as well. Such a Jekyll and Hyde side, though, aren't they? I mean, doing really poorly up until the Wigan game, then had an amazing result there. Yeah. New man in charge, Alex Neil. What are you expecting from them? Does anyone know?
Well, exactly. You have to be, be prepared for anything. You have to prepare your team. Obviously, new managers come in and not completely changed sort of the style and the personnel. A lot of similar players to when we did play them before in my first game, and play a similar way. Obviously with slight tweaks. So a top side in the division, top support. So we know it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Hopefully, they'll bring a load. Our support is always tremendous. So really good game to look forward to, and hopefully we come out the right side of it.
And you just touched on it earlier as well. We've got 12 games left until the end of the season. You had the meeting. I always used to feel March was the beginning of the end of the season, and the last 2 months do fly by as well. So what did you say to them about what you are expecting in the last couple of months?
Just said you got 2 months of the season, 12 games. It'll be over before you know it. Don't be sat there in 2 months with regrets, thinking I should have done this, I should have done that. What can you do as an individual now to help the team? And that's what we say. If everyone brings the best of them to the party for the next 2 months, then at least we can finish the season, with something to shout about, with a little bit of confidence. We want to go away from here giving the supporters, optimism going into next season, and that's exactly what we aim to do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Honest, as always, is Jacko. Let's have a look at the team then, shall we? And it's 4 changes in total from last week. Pearcey comes in, Scott Fraser, DJ and Jaden as well. We'll talk about Jaden a little bit more later on, Curbs, but that's a big boost, isn't it?
Well,
and
it
it
is.
will help Mason as well, actually, Jake,
Yeah,
alongside
it
him.
will, because he'll take the battering up top, and Mason hopefully can get around him, and we can pick up some balls in the final third and then get up attacking or offensive players in the final third, like Elliott, like Scott Fraser, to try and produce something for us. But a little bit more defensive, I think, in some respects. You know, Ben playing left wing back, but then got Jaisimi on the right hand side. But it's the make-up, or you know, the 3-5-2 that we've been used to under Jacko. But the big difference is Jayden back.
Saw you nodding there, Sean, in terms of Jayden coming back, but also the 3-5-2. Do you think it suits the players we've got?
Yeah, I think, especially with the players we've got that are starting today and the ones on the bench, it does suit a lot of what we've got. I think what we've missed is a platform up front, someone that we can bounce off and sustain our attacks a little bit more, and I think that's been our kind of problem of late. We've been all right kind of playing out from the back, but it's how do we keep it up in the final third?
You know what it's like, Scott, and so Sean as midfield player, if that ball goes up there and you're confident it's going to be held up, you're halfway on your toes, aren't you, to go. If you're not too sure, then you just wait, and that split second, it's gone.
Scott Fraser's another one I just want to touch on as well, because I think it's his first start now as well. How's he been? How does he look in training, and does he look fully recovered from COVID now?
Yeah, I mean, he's looked really good in training. If I'm being honest, he's a very tidy player, very good on the ball, and you can see he's got a spark. And I think that's something we could do at the moment, especially when you're in the form that we're in. But yeah, he looks recovered. He looks fit. He's been in the gym. He's been working hard when he's not been able to train. So I'm excited to see him start. To be honest,
You're feeling even more. I can feel even more positivity coming off you now.
It's coming off the jacket.
It's coming off the jacket. That's what it is.
It's bouncing off the camera and hitting you.
Let's have a look at the league table, where I'm afraid it's not too positive. We are 16th at the moment. We will go 15th if we can better Cheltenham's result today. Gillingham down there in 22nd. They've only lost one of the last 5 though, and are now just 3 points from safety. And Wimbledon just above the dotted line are now winless in 15, and they threw away a 2-goal lead against Doncaster last weekend. But not good to see us there, and we will be in the bottom half whatever happens today. But let's have a look at the top now, shall we? Rotherham still lead the way. Wigan in second, returned to winning ways on Tuesday night, having been beaten 3-0 at home by Sunderland last Saturday. And that makes them 3 points ahead of MK Dons with 2 games in hand. Sheffield Wednesday rose to 5th on Tuesday. Another win for them. They beat Burton. 7 wins in 8 for them now. And Wycombe earned a first win in 8 on Tuesday, and that took them back to 7th. Sean, do you look at that table and wonder, why on earth are we not right up there?
Yeah, if I'm honest, with the players that we have in the building and some of the performances we've put in this season, it's frustrating. And I understand the fans' frustration as well, because I see it day in, day out, and I play against these other teams that are up there, and I think there's nothing in it.
So why aren't we there, in your opinion?
For me, I think it's been our consistency and just kind of small things. So turning the losses into draws. We've played against some of the teams that are up there, like the Wigans and Boltons, when we've played well, or we've done enough in the game to at least get a draw, and we've come away with a loss because of something that's gone on in the game, whether it's been a late free kick, a late corner, or something like that. So I think in this league, those are massive things. Those small things there, they really help you boost up the table. And if you go back through our results, if we cut some of them out, we'd be more than in amongst it.
In the middle of the third of the pitch, there's not much in it, is there? It just depends, like any football match, in both boxes. Why do you feel we're not up there, Curbs?
We've let too many goals in from set plays. That's been a problem. You know, I don't know how the marking is. Is it some of the players man for man, or is it some zone or some man for... I don't know what the system is, but we haven't done well enough. You've got to get your head on the first ball, haven't you? You've got to get the first touch, and too often it's been the opposition getting the first touch, which is causing danger. And injuries. You can't get away from that. And I know that perhaps everyone, you know, you can use it as an excuse, but blimey, we've had so many injuries. But, you know, that happens.
Players as well.
Yeah, but that happens, and you just got to get on with it. I think that slowly but surely they may be coming back. A bit too late for the push that we was hoping for. But I think this running now, I know Jacko said it on quite a few occasions, he'll be looking at the squad and thinking, what do I need to do in the summer? And, you know, where am I going to go? And so you may see 1 or 2 changes week in, week out, just people getting an opportunity to prove to him that they should be here next year. Because I don't know the full extent of how many and who's out of contract, but I'm hearing there's quite a lot of players out of contract. So it's the time for either them to step up or it's going to be moving on.
Yeah, playing for their Charlton futures. Let's have a look at the fixture list in League One today, shall we? The resurgent Gillingham at home to Bolton, who arguably haven't got too much to play for. They might argue they still can get into the playoffs, mind you. Accrington, who we play next weekend, have a long trip to Portsmouth. Pompey 8 points off the playoffs at the moment, but they do have 2 games in hand, so it's all to play for them. The standout game, though, other than ours, of course, is probably MK Dons' trip to Rotherham, and MK Dons really could do with winning that if they have ambitions of breaking into the top 2, and that looks like a cracking game, Curbs, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, I'd ask Sean, who do you think is the best team that is in the league, or the best team you've played? Because I really fancied Wigan when they came here, just because of the squad I had. But
yeah, I think you've got to go with the Wigans and Rotherhams. Not necessarily about how they play, but they know how to get the job done. If you look at how many 1-0s Rotherham have got this season, they get their goal and then they shut up shop, and that's what wins you promotions. Wigan the same. When we went there, they did a professional job on us. I think we had times where we were probably the better team in that game, and they were able to soak up the pressure and then counter on us. So I think out of them two, I think we'll win the league.
I think you're absolutely spot on about Rotherham especially, and they're at the top, and I do think they'll not just go up and win the title as well. They don't always play well, but they manage games and they know how to win. You've played for quite a few of those, haven't you? Do you keep an eye out for your previous teams?
Yeah. I mean, there's always something there a bit. The further down the line, or the better the times were, you probably look at them a little bit more. But yeah, there's a few teams, and it's interesting to see how teams change and teams develop. Yeah.
OK, more on today shortly. Let's get to club news updates now, shall we? And we'll start with ticketing news. And tickets for our 2 remaining home matches in March against Gillingham on Tuesday the 15th and Burton Saturday the 19th are both on sale. The Burton Albion match is our annual Football for a Fiver fixture, where all tickets are priced at just £5 each anywhere inside the Valley. And tickets for both games can be purchased by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk. Streaming next, and supporters are reminded that today's game is only available to live stream outside of the UK and Ireland as per EFL broadcasting rules. You know the drill by now, as is the case with every Saturday 3 p.m. game this season. We can only live stream outside of England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Jersey, Guernsey, the Isle of Man and the Republic of Ireland. Overseas fans, though, can get a match pass for today's game for just £10 by going to cafc.co.uk. Well, Charlton would like to thank Safety Officer Mick Everett, who is stepping down from his role at the end of the season after 25 years at the club. Mick, who worked with the club for a number of years before joining permanently in January 1997, is a very, very highly respected and much-loved member of the Charlton staff, and he will continue to support the club on a match day. Well, Charlton Athletics Fans Forum are inviting supporters to join together at the 2022 Play of the Year dinner at the Valley. The dinner will take place in the Fans Bar in the Covered End on Sunday, May the 1st, with doors opening at 6. A 3-course meal will be served from 7 once the players and management team have taken their seats, with bar open from 6 until late. Tickets will be available to purchase later this month, and dare I say, Sean Clare will have a little bit of a shout of that as well, but we shall wait and see who you decide to vote for. On Sunday, despite a valiant effort, Charlton were knocked out of the Vitality Women's FA Cup by Everton. Katie Robinson came close to opening the scoring for Karen Hills' Addicts early on with a strike from the edge of the box. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. But a stunning goal from Ken Zadali. How about that, Curbs?
Yeah. I fancy this a little bit because Everton have been struggling in their league, and we've been having a good time, but it wasn't to be. We can concentrate
on the league. Typical manager speak. I love that one. Close range header from Anna Anvergaard saw Everton progress to the quarter-finals. The Addicts are back in action in the FA Women's Championship tomorrow when they coincidentally take on Sunderland. We wish Karen all the very best. Finally, ahead of kick-off this afternoon, everyone inside the Valley will be encouraged to show solidarity with the people of Ukraine and all those affected by the ongoing conflict by pausing for a period of silence. Our thoughts are with everyone who continues to be impacted by the conflict. Right, it was World Book Day on Thursday, and last time out at the Valley, author Jenny Pearson took time to tell a group of young fans about a very old, grumpy Charlton fan and his bucket list.
We are bringing Grandpa Frank Great Big Bucket List to Charlton today because Grandpa Frank and young Frank are big Charlton supporters, and we wanted to bring the books to the kids, get them reading, get them loving football, and we thought let's bring the book here and talk a little bit about what it's about.
And a badge saying, "Be stronger than your excuses." "I'm Jamal," he said. "How can I help you today?"
Grandpa Frank is a Charlton fan because my dad and my granddad were Charlton fans. That's the team. You know, it's set in South East London. Who am I going to choose them to be fans of? It's got to be Charlton, hasn't it? And basically, yeah, they have family troubles, but they kind of bond together over their love for the Addicts. Because that's the great thing about Charlton. It is a great multi-generational, you know, community, isn't it? So yeah, there's definitely a lot of Grandpa Franks. Sharing stories with kids is like the best thing to do, like to go off on an adventure together and like get everybody's reactions to the story. Yeah, I can't wait.
Well done, Jenny. I'll have to get the kids that one.
Yeah.
Sounds good. The book is all about Grandpa Frank and who was the grumpy Charlton supporter. He's old. He watches Charlton. He complains a lot and eats lots of biscuits.
Oh, does he?
Sound like anyone we know in the commentary box at all?
Brownie.
But she based it on
if he complained about the Blackwall Tunnel, it could be me. But,
Sean, are you into reading at all?
Here and there, I'd like to do it a lot more. I've started looking into it a bit more. My dad used to want me to read and probably didn't read as much as he wanted to, but yeah, no, I want to get into it a bit more.
Yeah, I don't seem to have the time. I'd like to read a lot more than what I did when I was a kid.
But I lose enthusiasm.
Depends on the book, I suppose,
Yeah.
isn't it? What were you like as a manager? Did you take time out to read, just a bit of a de-stress at all, or not really?
Music, I used to listen. You know, I didn't have the flash headphones that these have all got and whatever, so I used to make sure the players listened to it as well. when I was managing, to be fair, when I was managing, I loved when it got to 25 past 2, and the boys went out and you could turn their music off, and I could just put a bit of mine on.
Absolutely.
So,
But last book you read, can you remember? Put you on the spot.
Eddie
there.
Jones. The rugby, England rugby.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about what you
manager.
to say about substitutes, and
No,
he can't say that anymore,
No,
can he? Anyway,
no. Well, I like me rugby, as you know, and he's done lots of things for the league managers. He's really into his football, and he goes around to a lot of the football clubs and wants to find out what they're doing for the players. And he goes up to St George's Park a lot, and he takes the England rugby team up there as well, especially warm down. You know, after a game, he will go and use all the facilities. I mean, perhaps the players take it a little bit footballers take it a little bit for granted, but he goes up there and no, he really enjoys it. And I know that he went to see Fergie when Man U and Guardiola, so he's been to he's not just, he's been to some of the big boys, and he's always trying to learn, but he's a fascinating life.
No, I'm sure it's a really good book. As a kid, I used to read a lot of Roald Dahl. Fantastic. Danny Champion of the World, Charlie Chocolate Factory, Grey Glass Elevator as well. So, but Jenny, fantastic, and I definitely will get that book. Okay, another annual event is International Women's Day, which is coming up on Tuesday. And Charlotte Richardson caught up with the club's head of first team player care, Tracy Leeburn, a little bit earlier.
Thank you, Scott. I'm delighted to say we are joined by our very own Tracy Leeburn. Tracy, thank you for coming on to Charlton TV. International Women's Day is coming up on Tuesday. I just wondered, what does that day mean for you?
I think it shows the importance of women that work in any industry and being recognised for it. And yeah, it's a really looking forward to the day.
It's important, isn't it, that we take the opportunity to shine a bit of a spotlight on women, and particularly in football, a male-dominated industry. Here at the Valley, we have women working in the ticket office, within marketing, yourself in the first team, in the media as well. And it's important to have that visibility at a club like Charlton.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started my role just over 6.5 years ago, I was the first female player liaison officer in the first team, or definitely one of the first. And I think it's important that we break through in different areas where it is very male dominated, and just show what we can do.
Absolutely. And of course, a really significant step is that idea of equal opportunity, and the women's team came full professional outfit this season. They train at Sparrows Lane, and you were telling me earlier that at lunchtime sometimes you'll have the first team and the women's team all together, and that integration must be really lovely to be a part of.
Definitely, it's really, really important. I love, you know, at Charlton we are a one club, and I think that shows that, like you say, eating together, you know, just having a chat is just it was really, really important.
And there's a piece, I suppose, as well about inspiring the next generation. If there's a young girl at school, not only could she become a full-time footballer, but she could have a career in the game as well. You know, the sky is the limit.
Definitely, no woman should think that they can't go into any industry. It is so important that they believe in themselves and they see other women in positions that, you know, if they're at school, that's where I want to be, and they should be supported to know that they can do anything they want to do.
Absolutely, I love that answer. And moving away from International Women's Day to the recent PSA testing that we hosted here at the Valley, I think it was the 3rd consecutive season that Charlton have done that. Congratulations to you for the team effort. Talk us through the day.
It was 9 months of planning, but I'm so very proud. On the day we tested 360 men, and it went like clockwork. The phlebotomists were amazing. They come from the NHS, and to be honest, everyone supports, which is fantastic, like Scotty, like Brownie, Curbs, they all came, they all helped to advertise the day. And I think that just shows that we sold out. Yeah. And, you know, all the gentlemen that came, unbelievable. We unfortunately, like 16 red letters, 12 ambers, so potentially there is 28 men that Charlton has helped save their lives.
I love that we shine a spotlight on men's health and using, you know, the power of football to make a huge difference. There are a lot of supporters that still want to show their support, and I understand a fundraising target that we still want to hit. How can people go and show that support?
So yeah, so we're still 1,200 short on our fundraising. So next week we're going to be raffling a George Dobson signed match-worn shirt, and that will be going out on the website. So the details to be able to enter, it's £5 a ticket, will be on there. So please do support.
Absolutely. Well, look, Tracy, thank you so much for all you do at the football club and for being such an inspiring role model to girls and women out there as well.
And you too, by the way.
Thank you very much. Back over to you, Scott.
Absolutely, both of you inspiring. TJ, you know we love you, and you're more of a legend than your old man as well. I can say that because he used to be my roomie, Carlo. Coming up on Tuesday, all supporters are invited to join a virtual panel event which is being run by Charlton Athletic Community Trust in partnership with the Royal Borough of Greenwich and the EFL, titled An Important Conversation Discussing Women and Equality. Let's #break the bias together. The event will be held on Zoom from 3:30 p.m. until 4:30, and fans can secure their places by heading to cafc.co.uk now. OK, Sean, are you ready to have a little look back on your Charlton journey so far?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, actually, we've got to go quite a way back, haven't we? Back to when you were an 11-year-old.
Yeah,
That's when you first joined the club.
Yeah.
What are your early memories then?
My early memories are my first training session actually was on one of the Astros up the top, and it was kind of like a different level. Obviously I'd been playing with friends, I'd been quite good with friends and stuff like that, and then you're playing with people who were the same standard, if not better, so it was moving, it was intense, but yeah, that was actually my first memory of it, that training session.
You were part of an exciting group of players. Just take a look at this photo here. And look at that, some familiar faces in the picture. Young-looking Esri Konsa, he's second from the left bottom row. Top row, fifth from the left, Joe Gomez. Is that you looking away?
Yeah, yeah. I've never been good with pictures.
But I mean, you know, some talented players there.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really good team. I mean, I was saying earlier, we probably didn't realise how good we were at the time. We were beating the likes of Arsenal's, the Chelseas and stuff like that quite comfortably. But looking back on it now, look at some of the players there. They've gone on to do massive things. Looking at Joe and Esri playing in the Prem. You've got Casey, who plays regularly in the Championship. Yeah, it was a really good team, really good side, and a lot of good players who didn't quite reach that heights as well. We've got Josh, who was here for a long time. Sevdar, who's next to me, played here for a long time. So yeah, it was a really good side.
Yeah, Curbs, when you're first team manager, what ages do you start to hear about the players? We know Joe Gomez made his debut at 16, but when were they on? When did they start getting the radar?
10 or 11.
That early?
Yeah. I remember I was just talking over in the lounge earlier that Scotty Parker come into training when he was like 11, 12. Lee Bowyer. I remember we've done a finishing session, and Pards was sort of at the back, you know, he could have a little bit of banter, couldn't he? And Bowes hit a shot, and the keeper saved, he's gone round the corner, everyone's gone, oh, unlucky, but he run and got his ball, and he run back so he could get back in the line quicker, you know, and I just noticed that, oh yeah, that's bad, but, you know, we had Jermaine Defoe, you could see Jermaine was going to be a player, Konchesky, etc. And as I said, the young players, we used to invite them in to train in the school holidays. So I'd bring Scotty in and people like that when they were 12, 13, just to be around the first team.
I remember Scotty.
Yeah, I remember Scotty
for maybe 20 minutes joining a first team training session. We're told don't tackle him, but you could tell he had a.
Don't tackle him. He's worth more than what you are.
But together.
But it was to entice them. Like we're their first club, but to entice them to stay with us, which is what we managed to do. You know, so it was good.
How does that academy to first team sort of transition work?
Well, it's funny really, because you can have some young players at 12, 13, 14 are physically a lot stronger than perhaps other players, and then they get caught up, and sometimes they fall by the wayside. Perhaps their strengths when they're 12, 13 and 14 are not strengths when they're 15, 16 and 17, and vice versa. So it's not an easy path, and people that think that they're struggling can come late, you know, so you've always got to be aware of that. And obviously there's, as I said about Jermaine Defoe and Scotty and Lee Bowyer, whatever, you can see that, you know, they've got a real chance. But then there's the late developers, so you can't be too hasty on your judgment, you know. So, you know, with the facilities now and everything that the clubs have got to try and produce players, it's a great time to be a youngster, I think. And you know, and I think where we are as a club, I still believe, obviously we'd like to be higher up in different league and etc. But it's still that pathway. Yeah. There's a chance.
A couple more photos for you here, Sean. Let's have a look at this. One, you're outside the valley, which just looks like it hasn't changed at all, by the way. The other's the training ground. But interesting, when you got to, what was it, 15 or 16, you made the decision to leave the club. Why was that, and how difficult was it?
It was tough. It was tough. It was a decision I came to with my family, and similar to what Curbs was saying, I was a late developer, so I kind of went from playing all these games against the Arsenals and Chelseas to being pushed back a little bit, and it was affecting my outside life, it was affecting my school, how I was, and it was brought to my attention by my family, by my dad especially, and we kind of just sat down and said, if you're not really enjoying it right now, maybe come away from it and step back into it. And I've always had the belief that I could get back into it, even through the ups and downs. There's been many of them, but yeah, I've always felt that it was the right thing to do, and looking back on it, it made me a better player. I kind of got the joy back for the game, and was able to become better for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a big gamble though, isn't it? You know, obviously the worst thing any manager has to do is to let young lads go. You can understand that, but it's very rare that a young lad will say, well, I'm going to walk away here and
first I've heard of it, really. That's the first I've heard of it. But I should imagine, I mean, where was the club? In the Championship at the time?
Yeah, I think so.
In the Champions Premier League. So, you know, you can see if you're getting starved of an opportunity or you're not going to make it, and maybe it's better to go somewhere else and then develop and become a player than to perhaps tough it out and not make it, you know. And it's a brave decision, yeah. And I was interested that Sean saying that his dad was involved in it as well, because your dad wants you to be a player, don't they? You know, and they're desperate for you to do well, and you know. But to have that sort of attitude that it may be better to go away and come back was a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, most parents want their kids to become professional footballers, but actually, they should, and not all do, think about what's best for them as a person as well. I've got it here that George, the producer, said I've got to mention about the fact that I left Palace at 11 to become a detective. Now, that's not actually true. I love Sherlock Holmes, so I used to watch Sherlock Holmes all the time and think that's the route I'd go down. But I was 11, not 15, so there's a bit of a difference there, and I left Palace, so it's not so much of a problem. But you leave the club, you join a couple of sports colleges before moving on to the Nike Academy, don't you?
Yeah.
A number of well-known players there signed from the academy, have passed through the doors here. What do you feel was the key to this success?
I think for the players that have come out of it, and like the players that were at the academy that have done well or are doing well, I think it really was that kind of work ethic and belief. It can be quite daunting. We play all these academies when we're there, and sometimes they don't really have a look at you. You're just there kind of for fitness for the other players, and you've played well and you're waiting for a call almost, and it never really comes. So I think it really is the work ethic and self-belief, as well as the amazing things that the academy did for us, the Nike Academy. We were training at St George's at unbelievable facilities in the gym and the sports science and all the football stuff. It really progressed players if you wanted to buy into it. So yeah, I think players like Anthony, who was here, is a testament to that. He came in a bit later when he probably thought he wasn't going to get into the academy. He came in and just worked his socks off, and he's been flying ever since.
Yeah. So when you look at that time, you looked at the people like you mentioned, Casey Palmer, Joe Gomez as well. Went on to play in first team football, and you were a little bit of a slow burner in that sense. Did you think at any point I've made a mistake here, or did you always have that belief?
I think initially when you go back into school and you're kind of breaking the news to your mates and people around school, they're like, you didn't leave, you've been released. And that was the shout, and I was like, well, kind of only me and my family know what's going on. So yeah, there was a bit of regret and kind of, did I make the right decision? But I think once I got back into playing and kind of enjoying it a bit more, it was put to the side, and I went to the sports colleges and enjoyed it, and then felt like, yeah, I can actually come back into this.
Okay, let's fast forward a fair bit then to last summer. You were at Oxford, you get the call that Charlton are interested. What's going through your mind?
It was a strange one because obviously Charlton's a massive club. I know all about Charlton, and I'd just come back from a loan spell at Burton, which was quite successful at the time. But I wasn't sure what was going on. I had 2 years left at Oxford. Obviously, you kind of have to deal with that if someone's going to buy you. So I wasn't sure, and my agent called me and was like, Charlton are interested, and I was like, all right, like, let's see how much the interest is. And he came back a few days later and was like, no, they're really interested, and it was something that I really wanted to do. I've never held any bad feelings about Charlton, even though like I wasn't enjoying my football at the time. I've always wanted to kind of be back involved, and have always looked at their results and stuff like that. So yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah. So as someone who grew up locally, what does it mean for you to play for Charlton as well? Are your family able to come and watch?
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, my dad travels everywhere. Even when I was in Scotland, he was there. But it's great because my mum and my sister and my girlfriend and stuff like that can come down and watch more regularly, as well as friends who probably haven't seen me as much because I've been far away. So yeah, it's a massive boost, and being close to them when you need to lean on them and stuff like that, or them helping me move in and stuff, it makes a massive difference.
And just the one goal so far in the Charlton shirt. It was a good finish though, wasn't it, I have to say. But you've also got to count in the positional change that you've had to deal with. How have you found that transition from midfield to defence?
I've enjoyed it, if I'm honest. The Gaffer's really put a lot of belief in me in that position and allowed me to have a run of games there. So I felt like I've learnt a lot from it. I've learnt a lot more about the position, and I'm enjoying it. The way we play, I get a bit more freedom. I can move forward. I can get round the
overlap as well, don't you?
Yeah. Overlap, underlap, all of that stuff. So yeah. No, I enjoy it, if I'm honest. I think you get to see the whole game in front of you, which I enjoy as well. So it's been enjoyable. It's been a learning curve. There's still stuff to learn in that position, but it's been enjoyable.
And in a difficult season, Curbs, he's been one of the standout players, isn't he?
And so versatile. And you know what you've got to appreciate is that Jacko can, with Sean playing, he can change systems and shape whenever he wants without having to make a substitution. You know, let's just move Sean about. Let's put him over there,
deal with it.
and everybody else can fill in. But no, it's handy when you've got someone who can play in so many positions.
Yeah. Listen, as I say, we'd love to see you out there, but we're really pleased that you're here with us anyway. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, great history you got with Charlton there. Some of those things I didn't even realise as well. Let's look to last week though, where obviously it was a game that you didn't play in, Sheffield Wednesday. It was one of those games, Curves, wasn't it, where it doesn't matter how many injuries you have, you cannot have a start like that. And actually, speaking to Greg Stubbley, who's taking your role at half-time, because you'll be down pitch side, he was telling me that we had 3 completed passes in the first 8 minutes.
Yeah.
One was kick-off, one was a pass back, and the other was a 5-yard pass.
Yeah. We never really recovered from the start. I think that Sheffield Wednesday decided, right, we're going to turn them around, we're going to hustle and bustle, we're going to keep the ball alive as much as we can in that attacking third and get balls in the box and make them defend. And the first goal was another set play, and you know, they always looked dominant, didn't they, in that first 10, 15 minutes, and it was no surprise they went 1 up. And then Barry Bannon was running the show, but we couldn't get out, could we? And if you're saying we only had 3 or 4 completed passes in that early stages, you're never going to get out. But the goal just before half-time, which was a well-worked goal in between the third centre-back and the wing-back, And that was game over, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
We wasn't going to get back.
Won't come back from that. I mean, Mason had a decent chance at the start of the second half. If that had gone in, with Jayden and Scott Fraser on the pitch, could it have been different, do you feel, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, Hillsborough's a tough place to go on the best of days, and obviously the start wasn't great. It's not what you need, especially in the form we're in, but yeah, I think in the position we're in now, we need to take those kind of chances and get a foothold back in the game, because yeah, they kind of controlled it from then, which is, they're a good side, they've got good players, but with the players we've got, we should be able to battle a lot more.
The big positive, though, Curbs, was Jayden and Scott returning, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I think we had to get Jayden on the pitch, and you know, he got 45 minutes. May have got lucky there with a penalty shout, but no, it's good to have him back. As you say, and Scott Fraser, I think the fans were looking forward to seeing him today.
Absolutely.
You know, we've obviously seen him play against us, but we haven't seen him properly at the Valley for us. So I'm looking forward to it. The atmosphere's here. It's a better atmosphere already. We can feel it in here. So let's hopefully we respond to it.
Definitely. Okay, great to see Scott back. Great to see Jayden back as well. And I caught up with the striker a little bit earlier pitch side. Jayden, good to see you. First of all, welcome back. Great to see you have minutes on the pitch in a Charlton shirt again. How pleased are you to be back?
Yeah, absolutely delighted to be back. It's been tough. Like I said before, it's probably the first time in my career I've been out for this long, and it has been, yeah, mentally tough, physically tough. Disappointing in the way it ended last week, but on a personal note, really happy for it to be the next stage of my recovery.
Let's keep on that personal note for now. I mean, people don't really notice what it's like when players are out and how difficult that can be from a mental point of view. How tough was it, especially not knowing at one point when you would be back?
Yeah, it's really tough, especially my injury was a case of not knowing when I'd be back, so it was setting yourself goals. My goal was just to try and, you know, feel some feeling in my foot again and things like that. But look, I had people around me like Cask, and looking at their mental strength and how much that takes, then it does inspire you on a day-to-day basis.
So I was going to ask you, were you sort of heading and kicking the ball from the stands, but you could hardly move anyway?
Yeah, it took a while, up until about a few weeks ago is when I, you know, made a bit of a rapid recovery to everything that's happened. So it was a bad January, but then February definitely picked up.
Yeah. Look, we're meeting Sunderland today. I mean, they're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde side, but they are in the top 6 at the moment. What are you expecting, and do you feel we can turn around our poor run today?
Yeah, of course we can. This is a team that, you know, in the past we've had success against. They've got a new manager in at the moment who I've worked closely with before, and he's absolutely brilliant in terms of how he sets the team up. So it's going to be a real challenge for us. They're looking at the boys in training this week. You wouldn't have thought it was a team that would have, you know, 5 losses in a row. It's been full of confidence. It's been bouncing. It's been we've been definitely asking a lot more of each other and asking, you know, some of the difficult questions this week that needed to happen in the changing room. So a response today is the minimum requirement. So
there's been a few frank meetings, as they're behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think there has to be at this stage of the season. It's happened before. I don't want there to be too many more discussions. I want it to be part of the uprise now of this football club, and today's, you know, the first step of that.
It's difficult, final one for me. It's difficult because, you know, the playoffs aren't going to happen, but 12 games to go. From your point of view, both from you personally and also as a team, what are you looking for now to the end of the season?
Personally, I've got goals to achieve. The total amount of goals I want to be as high as possible, and a highest place finish is what this team should be looking at. I mean, there's records there in terms of the lowest place, and we don't want to be anywhere near that. We need to push up now. We need to get the points up, and we need to finish the season strong. That's the only answer I can really think of at the moment.
Good luck today.
Cheers. Thank you.
And there he is. Team's just coming out. Sean, how much of a massive boost is it that he's back in the side, and what is he like to play? You know, whether you're playing as a midfielder or as a centre half. You stick the ball up, it doesn't always have to be a perfect ball, does it? He can hold it.
Not at all. He's a massive boost. Like he said, he can hold the ball. Even if your ball isn't good, he make it look good. So he's a massive boost, and he's a great player to have on the pitch. Obviously, he's a leader. He's an experienced player, and like we were saying earlier, he'll help the likes of Mason Burstow, who can flourish under him because he can take a bit of the batter in and slide Mason in.
Absolutely. Let's remind ourselves of the teams, shall we? 4 changes. Jacko makes, Jason Pearce, and he's captain as well. DJ comes in. Scott Frazier too, and Jaden on top of that, and it is a very, very strong looking bench, so options if things aren't going too well. Let's have a look at Sunderland. Secured their first win in 7 with that excellent 3-0 win at Wigan last weekend. They're currently 6th, but with just 2 wins in 11, if you did the league table for 2022, they'd be in the relegation zone. Amazing. Led by Alex Neil now. Ross Stewart is the standout goal scorer at 22 this season, but everything goes through Alex Pritchard, number 21 there, so watch out for him. I mean, look, Curbs, again, I asked it a little bit earlier, what are we expecting from Sunderland? Because it's such a difficult club to manage, isn't it?
It is, because the expectation levels is massive, even bigger than ours, I think. But looking at what has happened to them, took a long time to get their manager in the end. There was lots of people muted to be coming in, but they brought Alex Neil in.
The right man, do you feel?
Well, he done a good job.
For them?
He done a good job in Scotland. Then he went to Norwich and done well. Preston didn't work out as he would have liked, and he left there. This was a big chance for him, I think. You know, not many people get the chance to manage a club as big as Sunderland, and he's also in a great position. You know, just outside the playoffs. A couple of wins takes him into the playoffs. Bit of momentum, and they could find themselves. I don't think they catch the top 2, but dreaded playoffs for them again.
Dreaded playoffs. They're just getting nervous about that as well. Is he still feeling positive then, Sean?
Definitely. I think it's a great turnout from the fans. There's a great atmosphere, and with the team we've got, I think we've got more than enough to go and get 3 points.
Brilliant. OK, let's get over to this afternoon's commentators. Terry Smith, Greg Stubley and Stevie Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Just before kick-off here, we're going to have a minute's silence, and I'll let Brian Cole take you through it.